Sorry about that, folks. The camera fell there right at the beginning. Yeah, you see it down below. This is going to be a surprise for some of you. But of course, I'm here in the rec room, and it's a different location. But also, it's a bit of a surprise that it says Impact Wrestling Review. Basically, what is today, the 22nd, so 8/21/13 Impact Wrestling Review. Yeah, I watched Impact for the first time in a long time. I mean, I've watched the highlights and video clips and stuff, and I've downloaded some episodes that I've gone on demand with Spike's on demand service and watched some things here and there. But yesterday was the first time I'd ever fully sat down in my room, watched and recorded an episode of Impact, which is kind of funny. I can record Impact, but yet I can't record Monday Night Raw. I can record a WWE pay-per-view, but I can't record Raw, maybe not even SmackDown. What sense does that make? Somebody tell me. But anyway, I have to say that this continuation, because obviously, even if you haven't watched Impact for a while, you can kind of pick up on what's going on. And basically, it seems that when they do an event, a free pay-per-view event, or basically a free pay-per-view event, as they would call it, like Hardcore Justice, that basically they continue it on the next week. So basically, Hardcore Justice, just like Destination X was, is a 2-week event. That's basically what it is. It's a 2-week event. Because it's taped all in one night. Anyway, Hardcore Justice Part 2. I have to say, for a return to watching Impact, I'm not going to say regular basis just yet. I'm just going to say on a basis to where I was interested in what I read on the spoilers. I have to say it was okay. You can definitely tell that whoever's behind the Ego faction, that whether it's Bischoff in a supportive role as part of creative, and that as a head of creative but in the supporting role, or not, you can tell they want to basically do something with this faction, even if it's for the short term. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good to know. But like I said, to really look at that in a sense, so that was good. And I like the fact that they kind of went a little ECW old school by saying, hey, let's just throw in Earl Hebner in there, let's do a match, and that's what they did. They started out as a fight, turned into a tag match, turned into a decent tag match, and Kazarian and Rude got the win. So, okay, that was cool. We got also some backstage situations with Aces and Eights, especially with Anderson and Bully Ray, and the fact that Anderson wasn't too thrilled, being the VP. He thinks perhaps the group should at least know what's going on behind the scenes, like what's going on with Ray bringing in Ortiz, or I don't know if he's going to say anything about Ray bringing in someone else, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But obviously there seems to be some dissension, and some people on the inside, or close to the inside, feel as though Anderson's being like that mole. Like, if that's true, like, let's say Hogan's, kind of like, let's say the Invasion did, when we saw Angle join the Alliance and it turns out he was a mole, that's what people are thinking Anderson could be. Some people, anyway. Anyway, after that, if I skip, and if I forget anything, forgive me. But after that, we get an X Division match between Manic and Sanjay Dutt. And we get informed already, for those who already know about this, that the X Division format is going to go back to its one-on-one deal. So that's pretty cool. It'll go back to one-on-one instead of three-ways. And it was a decent X Division match, non-title. Manic gets the win. So that was good. We get a backstage segment with Aries, kind of contemplating, kind of saying, hey, I'm going to give Ego my answer later on tonight. So what happens is we lead into, the street fight, the 4-way Hardcore Justice BFG 20 points street fight. Joseph Park, Hernandez, Jay Bradley, and Christopher Daniels. A good street fight, good 4-way street fight. Wasn't as hardcore as you would think, but decent. Joseph Park ends up getting the win. In by hitting the black hole slam on Jay Bradley. Now you might say to yourself, this guy, they're putting this guy in last place, why is he winning? I'm going to get into that in a little bit too, but apparently they're going to, let's just say, there's a certain transformation or certain trance he goes into that we know of a certain somebody that might play into it. But again, he gets the win after seeing his blood, and there you go. Then we get in-ring segment with, and by the way, Aries interferes in the match. You think he's going to join Ego, but he ends up, as soon as Rude and Kazarian turn their back, he ends up brain-busting Daniels. And then he says in the backstage area afterwards, hey, I don't need anybody. I'm going to use what God gave me, and that's my talent to win this BFG series. So, okay. Then we get ODB versus Gayo Kim. Decent little match here between the knockouts. Gayo Kim wins, goes over ODB after working on the arm a little bit and kind of getting a crucifix pin on her. So that was pretty cool. Good. That was pretty good to see. At least, gives Gayo Kim some momentum. And in between this, we had a segment with Bully Ray and Ortiz. Decent segment here. Ortiz obviously has been practicing a lot, did pretty good. And obviously it was to help promote the November 2nd Bellator pay-per-view fight. And then we finally get a revelation. Well, I don't know if it was much of a revelation, but still. Bully Ray introduces or reintroduces the Impact Universe to Brooke Tessmarker as being the Brooke, or as he calls it, the hot Brooke, that he's been on the phone with. And that it was never Brooke Hogan. Now, I will give him credit for doing things WWE is not going to do that much right now. They made out in the ring, which is very good. And I like how he kind of symbolizes that he and Brooke Hogan are done, because he has Tessmarker take the finger, I think it was this hand here, take the ring off, and she didn't just take it off like this and go, no, she sucked the thing off. And I'll tell you this, Tessmarker, if she was still with WWE, maybe she'd been able to do that back when Extreme Expose was around, but not today. But anyway, she's part of Aces and Eights apparently, as well. Now again, if I skipped anything, I do apologize. I'm trying not to skip anything, I'm trying to get as much in as I can. Then we get the main event match, the loser leaves TNA match. Basically, whoever is made to submit or is pinned, they're gone. We had Aces and Eights represented by Devon, Anderson, Nux, Briscoe, and Bischoff. On the other hand, we had the main event Mafia minus Kurt Angle, who was in rehab. So who would they get? Who would they recruit? Or who would step up to the plate? Well, surprise, surprise, if you didn't read the spoilers, this was a surprise to you. But surprise, surprise, AJ Styles steps up. Now you think, at first, he's just gonna, and this is, like I said, this is in case you haven't read spoilers, you think he's just gonna be his loner gimmick, step up to the plate and say, hey, I'll just help you for this match, help him in the match, and then afterwards leave, right? That wasn't the case. And I like TNA for doing this. Because the way it was described in the spoilers, it sounded a little different. It sounded like when he came out the way, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but the way it sounded a little different. But anyway, he comes out to his Evil Ways theme, and it looks like he's doing the loner gimmick, right? Well, all of a sudden he walks up, and it's like he's near the ring, he's in the middle, kind of like close to the ring, he's kind of like in the middle of the ramp. The Evil Ways theme stops, right? And he's just standing there for a few seconds, and then, boom, I Am, or Get Ready to Fly hits, and he just tears off the leather jacket, and boom, he's back to the phenomenal one. And I love how the fact that you could criticize Taz all you want. He's probably not the best commentator in the world, but a heel commentator, when they see something like this happen, especially with somebody like AJ Styles going back to his old self again, you got to listen to the reaction. The reaction is that they're worried, that this is not what they wanted. This is not the AJ Styles they wanted. They did not want the phenomenal one back. Because basically, by listening to that commentary, you hear the fact, and then especially after the match, you see the expression on Ray's face and Taz's face that this is not what they wanted, because they know, storyline-wise, and I'm sure they're going to play this up going into Battle for Glory, because there's no doubt AJ's probably going to stay. We hope. But, you know, or they're going to extend his contract to at least the end of the year. But the way it seems is that AJ, this is not the AJ they want, because they know this AJ is capable of not just winning the Battle for Glory series, but is the only one that throughout all odds could win the TNA title away from Bully Ray and keep it away from him. Basically, he's going to be like the Sting that comes to the rescue. You know, now I know a lot of people feel it was the wrong time for this to happen, but you know what? It was, well, I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, he goes back to the phenomenal gimmick. Excuse me. He goes back to the phenomenal gimmick. We get a great matchup here, and he ends up getting the pin over Devon, which surprised a lot of people. And Devon, storyline-wise or reality-wise, is gone from TNA Wrestling. Now, whether this means he's going to be a TNA road agent or agent backstage or whatever, or if he's just gone from the company, period, in real life and probably end up back in WWE or wherever, that's fine. But this was a bit of a surprise. Now, some people said that they felt the better choices would have been Bischoff or Garrett, would have been Bischoff or Briscoe. I'm not saying either way. I do agree. You know, those two are a little too green still. And I will admit, they haven't really added much. The only reason, and I think this is going to be revealed after this whole Aces and Eights thing's done, that the only reason they joined Aces and Eights is to be in the main event, is to be in the spotlight. That they didn't want to wait, kind of deal. Basically, I think what they're going to do with Bischoff and Briscoe is portray them as the kind of, you know, like arrogant little rookies that didn't want to wait their turn, the spoiled little brats that didn't want to wait their turn, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, good match, and it did surprise people with the ending. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, now, as far, again, as AJ going back to his phenomenal gimmick, some people are thinking, could it be just for one night? I don't think it's for one night. I think, honestly, what's going to happen here is there's going to be something coming down. So he's going to end up, basically, AJ's going to explain why he did what he did this upcoming Thursday. But I think, in a sense, that it was just time. I think Bischoff, being head of creative, but in a supervising role, kind of suggested, you know what, this lone wolf thing's not helping AJ. This is not AJ. And I'm sure Bischoff, whether you like the guy or not, Eric Bischoff that is, probably said, you know what, this whole lone wolf thing with AJ is just nothing more than a copy of, nothing more than a blatant ripoff of this Crow gimmick, Sting's Crow gimmick. It's not working. You know, it's not working. People know exactly what's going to happen. Why not just let it happen with AJ being who he is, the phenomenal one? And I'm sure that's probably what he said, but probably what he suggested, and they went with it. And I think it was good. I mean, to me, reading these spoilers and reading something like that, that to me is a reason enough sometimes to watch Impact. Because that's something that you want to see. I mean, I have nothing against this no one lone wolf gimmick. I don't. But the truth is, I saw it, everybody else saw it, and I'm sure, obviously, it seems like Eric Bischoff and those backstage and creative was seeing it, and it was nothing more than a ripoff of the Crow gimmick. That's it. You just had, the only difference is you had AJ more spoken, and you had AJ being more active in the ring, actually competing. But you didn't have him associate with anybody. But we'll find out exactly what's going on storyline-wise this upcoming Thursday. But I thought for a return to watching it, but I thought this was a good Impact for the first time watching it fully through and recording it. I thought it was a decent Impact, and I liked how they they brought AJ back. I like the fact that it teases he's coming out to his evil ways, and then it stops, and then you, because obviously, okay, it stops, and you think, okay, he's just going to look up, then walk down, walk away. But no, the phenomenal, the get ready to fly hits, and boom, it's like, there you go. So we'll find out exactly what it is. I've got a feeling he's going to end up probably mentioning something along the ways to say that it's not really TNA's fault. It's not Dixie or Hogan's, that it's actually all been aces and eights. So, especially Bully Ray. So this is like the first step to setting up Ray and Styles of Bound for Glory, or somewhere down the line. Whether he signs a new contract or at least he gets an extension, it'd be worth it. So that's all I'm going to say. Again, decent impact, especially for my first time watching it fully through in a long time. I'll probably tune in next week and see what happens. So, it caught my interest, so I'll just tune in and see what happens next week. And until then, comment below, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you all later.